Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Micah Parsons gets in spat over Cowboys coaching hire. Micah Parsons got into an online back and forth with former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Dez Bryant about the team's search for its next head coach. The Cowboys parted ways with Mike McCarthy last week. His tenure ended after 5 years, with a 49-35 record, but just a 1-3 mark in the playoffs. Throughout Mike McCarthy's tenure here, including the last several weeks, I have been very complimentary of the job he has done, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said in a statement after the move. That has applied to our record over that time period, our team unity and culture, Mike's qualifications and track record of success, and on a personal level as a tremendous human being. I have great respect for Mike, and he has led the team through some very unique and challenging times during his tenure. The Cowboys have been interviewing candidates, including Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore and former New York Jets head coach Robert Saleh. Amid the search, Bryant let his opinion be known. "From now on, I'll speak my truth about the Cowboys, whether it's good or bad," Bryant said on X. "Jerry has built a great brand, and now it's time for the team to start winning. It's time for a real culture shift. I'm fed up with all the nepotism, get someone in there who can win games." The message generated a response from Parsons, who was unhappy with Bryant's opinion. "Stuff like this irritates me, Dez, because you had 10 talent and was probably one greatest in your time. You could have changed the culture, brother. You could have changed the culture," Parsons said. Micah Parsons says Cowboys players responsible for actions. Parsons fired back a few times with Bryant and others, putting the onus on the players rather than the front office in Dallas. The Cowboys are coming off a 7-10 campaign, missing the postseason. Prior to that, the Cowboys had reeled off 3 consecutive 12-win seasons but have lacked playoff success. Dallas hasn't been past the divisional round since 1996. Cowboys hiring timeline for new coach gets stunning update. If you thought the Cowboys took their sweet time in deciding the fate of coach Mike McCarthy, not formally letting go of him until the day before his contract ran up, on Tuesday, then you might not be surprised to learn that the process of hiring McCarthy's replacement could be a lengthy one, too. Ridiculously lengthy, perhaps. The Cowboys have completed one formal interview, with Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, the Cowboys' former quarterback and offensive coordinator. There was an informal chat about the job with Colorado coach and former Cowboy star Deion Sanders last week, and Saturday, the team was set to talk with former Jets coach Robert Saleh. There will be more interviews coming. While the job market can move quickly, especially as more teams are eliminated from the playoffs, team insider Calvin Watkins said the process of replacing McCarthy figures to go beyond next week. And even beyond the end of this month. According to Watkins, who said that both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson of the Lions, 2 of the top candidates this cycle, are expected to interview for the job, the Cowboys might not hire a coach until mid-February. Cowboys' process could drag into February. In fact, it seems almost impossible for the Cowboys to take that long to hire their coach. McCarthy, after all, was hired on January 7, 2020, and most teams have a sense of what they'll do with their position by late January. But, Watkins said in a video on the Dallas Morning News website, so, where do they go from here? Initially, they're going to talk with 3 people: Kellen Moore, their former offensive coordinator, who's currently the Eagles' offensive coordinator. Leslie Frazier, who's the former coach in Buffalo and has been the defensive coordinator for several teams, will also interview for the job. And Robert Saleh, who is the New York Jets' former head coach and is also a former defensive coordinator with the 49ers, he's going to come in. Those 3 initial candidates are just the beginning for the Cowboys. Ben Johnson, who is the Lions' offensive coordinator, and Aaron Glenn, who is also the Lions' defensive coordinator, are going to also be expected to come in for interviews. The Cowboys will take this probably into mid-February before they make a final decision. Rex Ryan names coach who makes perfect sense for Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have to fill their void at head coach, and with much buzz about Colorado football coach Deion Sanders potentially taking the job, Rex Ryan threw out the name Anthony Lynn as a potential name on ESPN. First, he spoke on Sanders' potential fit. "I mean, listen, I would love for Deion to get a job here," Rex Ryan said on ESPN. "He'd obviously have to bring in NFL assistant coaches and change up the guys that he has on his current staff and things, but I mean nobody's gonna sit back and look at, oh really? What do you know? No, he's one of the greatest players in the history of our game, so they're gonna have that natural respect." When it comes to Lynn and the Cowboys, Ryan made a pitch based on what he knows from his time spent with him. Lynn was a running backs coach for the New York Jets on Ryan's staff in 2009 to 2012, and became the assistant head coach in 2013. He followed Ryan to the Buffalo Bills in 2015, before being hired as the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers in 2017. With the Chargers, Lynn had a 33-31 record. Watch out for Anthony Lynn, and I'm gonna tell you, Anthony Lynn is a way better football coach than many people give him credit for, Ryan said. He did a really good job with the Chargers, and I think people forget that he has a winning record as a head coach with the Chargers. And I'm just telling you, Jerry is going to be comfortable with him. He's been in that organization for a while, I think that's important. Anthony would know what he's getting into, and he is a dang leader of men. Some of these other guys in the shot, I'm not so sure. But Anthony Lynn I think makes perfect sense here. He's an outstanding coach. I had the opportunity, he was with me for several years. I think he's one of the finest coaches in the NFL. Lynn is currently the running backs coach for the Washington Commanders, but he is an experienced head coach who could be an intriguing candidate for the Cowboys. He did spend the 2005 and 2006 season in Dallas as the running backs coach, so he has knowledge of how the organization works, as Ryan pointed out. It will be interesting to see who the Cowboys eventually hire for their head coaching vacancy.